I like it. I like that we made it this far. Um, and if we're talking about glass and glazing, you know that glazing is not talking about ceramics or donuts right now. I want to talk to you, Jess, that blue collar broad. I want to talk to you about joining a trade, a specialty trade, a trade that's really dear to my heart. It's the glass and glazing trade. I want to tell you why I think you should be a part of it, and why you should join it, and why now is a great time. So, I've been a part of the glass and glazing trade commercial side for almost 10 years now. And I first got into it by delivering my drafting skills and turning architectural drawings into glass and glazing shop drawings. As I delivered my drafting services to project managers and to the field, these things would be ordered and I'd be able to see them in the shop and really understand the technicalities and details and every single fastener of what I was drafting. Um, Glass and glazing is a really cool trade to join that's always in high demand. Glass and glazing can be considered earth friendly because glass is a renewable product, and I can't say it doesn't have any plastics because with safety laminates it does. This is Audrey. Glass and glazing. I keep saying glass and glazing because there is very distinct too. Glass has become more of just the glass, the monolithic pane of glass that gets turned into mirrors, showers, or auto glass for car windshield, even going into lenses. That stays as glass. And these things do become architectural components. So that's why it is part of the glass and glazing building industry. Glazing has taken on more of a fenestration exterior use where the glass is just one pane, and typically you will see dual pane units installed into frames, into aluminum frames, and this is all engineered. And so it's not just a piece of glass, it's part of the building envelope. And it's on a much larger scale because these pieces that are dual pane in commercial glass can also be back painted or spandrel and have metal, brake metal spandrel components so you don't see all the way through. And that's where metal and glass gets put together and creates this glazing world for the larger commercial side. And if you're East Coast, you're probably going to say glazer, but majority of the world will tell you glacier. I'm from Jersey and I'm going to say it wrong. And so when you go into glazing, you become a glazer. And this is much more technical in the trade, and parts of it that I want to explain about and elaborate, and again give you that vocabulary, take out the scariness because I know that you can do it. Part of scariness in the glass and glazing trade is that it's glass, so it can break. And why would I want to work with this and face all those risks? Like, isn't that why it's a high paying trade? Yeah, that's why it's a high paying trade, because there are risks. Yeah, yes, it is a high paying trade because of the safety risks to it, but glass has taken on and advanced with technology that tempering and hardening has gone surpassed safety levels in the US. And so why face that fear if you're most likely handling a tempered pint glass at the bartending job or restaurant job that you're still stuck at, counting every dollar, every tip, every hour that you're working? Whereas if you learned a trade, you'd be able to be working smarter instead of more, and getting quality life instead of just quantity on things. The typical glass and glazing installations that I'm used to and being a part of are ones that you'll see in large skyscrapers and have large amenity floors, or are 4 to 5 story unit apartment buildings with a bunch of windows and then stores on the bottom with larger glass. And that's not where it stops. That's only where it begins. And so I want to take you on this vocabulary road real quick and just say, like, that's just commercial. You also have residential. Then there's just railings. You could go into just doing railings, and that could be for houses and small to large commercial spaces. Railings have their own pretty strict code to go by, so people don't fall over them or fall through them. So just sticking with railing, you can be the installer, you can be the business owner, you can work for the glass fabricating plant that only fabricates the glass and laminates it, cuts it out into the shapes that it needs to be for the hardware. Or speaking of the hardware, you can be a sales representative for just railing hardware. There are people that are just sales reps for just railing hardware, but then it also goes into a little bit of door hardware, because pools will have swinging gates with like small glass doors. And these, if you've noticed, have what is called a panic push bar on them. And that gives, when you're in a panic, to give you release to that. We're just talking railings here right now, and these are all the different areas. And you can also go into being the installer, being the project manager of the subcontractor that needs to, or the contractor that needs to install this railing. And then there are people that are going to want to take pictures and videos of the finished product. So those are photographers and marketers, videographers, that if you started your own content company with that, you can do it. But you can't do any of these without knowing the trade first, without knowing the terms glass and glazing. Just speaking railings, monolithic glass, laminated glass, beveled edges, solar blue, Pacifica. Pacifica is a certain type of tinted glass, and these are all industry terms. I'm giving you these for free. I'm giving you these again, so you can just walk into the union or walk into a subcontractor's office that does glass and glazing and say, hey, I know a little bit about this, and I've Googled this, and I know that I'm smart enough to figure this out. So go, because they want your skills, and you know that you can do it. I know that you can do it. I digress there. Let's keep going with, I think that's railings. No, I can still go on with railings. They require certain types of heavy concrete fasteners to hold them in, and there are wonderful sales reps of just holding fastener stores to make sure that the subcontractor would stay in stock with the required fasteners, because they always do railing jobs and would always need required this type of fastener. You could go into just fasteners, but you have to know glass and glazing, railings, what they require. Drafting, as I do, for Van Drafting, my company, I do estimating packages, submittals, all these pre-construction tasks that need to be done for the subcontractors to provide before they place their orders. Particularly when this pandemic hit, outsourcing became more popular because people got laid off. So the requests for estimates and quotes and submittals, shop drawings that they needed to place their orders, they outsourced to Van Drafting in order to get done, keep their job moving. And then when all their material shows up at their shop, they give it to their installers, who install it and put it in. We're talking about the railing of the film. If you wanted to be an installer just of the film, where you can install blackout film or frosted film and just do a company for that, which actually is a vendor for subcontractors. You can do this totally on your own. There's even this really cool new film now, smart film, and you pair up with electrician. Again, like if you have a buddy who has also joined a trade, now people can go into it together and you install this film, which takes absolutely no muscles, and then the electrician pairs it with the hardwire, and people who have the railing outside their pool, if they don't want the neighbors to see them skinny dipping, they switch it off and it fogs up and looks like frosted glass, or then when they turn it on, it goes away and looks like clear glass. So it's a really cool new product. When you are applying film other than this can be frosted film, blackout film. Now with the whole pandemic, there's like this germ-free film that helps wipe away easily, graffiti film. And so this alone can get into many different areas. There's this type of ballistic film that is known for withstanding bullets and bricks. So if any loitering happens on the outside, just the film can take care of that. And this is a product that can be put on with little to no muscle and just a ladder and your squeegee pretty much. So good luck and get it, but first you have to learn the trade. Still sticking with railings, you can be the engineer who stamps the drawings for the draftsman, or you can do glass cleaning and window cleaning. And if you live at a certain area, like a beachfront where everyone has glass railings, do just railing cleaning, and you would have like your own window railing cleaning company without using all the lifts and the scaffolding that typical window cleaners have to use with the expectations of getting over certain floors. You could stick just at the ground level and have enough work for yourself. So enough about just railings. We can also go into windows, operable windows, hardware, door hardware, showers, mirrors, storefronts different than curtain wall, window wall. I would love to expand more of these in different episodes, because this can be separate companies or smaller companies, whether you take larger or smaller projects, join a larger or smaller subcontractor, union or non-union. And then people, like some companies will only focus on mirrors and showers and do that for thousands of homes. Other companies will do just interior glass partitions. Other people will do just residential and also commercial size residential windows, for like operable windows, sliding, and ones that come out, and awnings that come up, but ones that only cover commercial spaces up to 5 floors. Or other larger subcontractors would be able to do projects with higher insurance levels, total skyscrapers with operable windows. Again, we spoke about railings, interior, exterior, floors. There are glass floors and glass treads. The Apple Store is definitely one of my favorites, is in the Apple Store. And then we also have glass ceilings and covered walkways. Glass, I love the frameless spider fittings and Herculite doors, mall openings, sliders, automatic sliders, and can be sales reps on their own. Definitely more for a sales rep type of person, but that sales rep isn't going to be a successful sales rep unless they know the trade. So they would have to join the trade first. You could go into the sales rep part of these, or also get into the manufacturing part of these. But even automatic doors would have the glass and glazing sold and installed separately. So Do you install that glass, or do you work for the manufacturer that produces that glass? Or do you work for the manufacturer of the plate glass? Because before glass gets fabricated into these dual units that we're used to seeing and handed off into the installers and subcontractors' hands, it actually starts being made as plate glass first. And so there's only a few of these plants. And if you live in a city, metropolitan area, in the middle of the country near one of these glass manufacturing plants, I highly recommend going out to them. I couldn't be happier with the glass and glazing industry as far as what it's given me and what I've been able to contribute to it. It has this very 9 to 5, 7 to 3 structured life, if that's what you choose. Or if you choose a higher managerial senior project manager role, you do end up putting in more hours, but then the payoff of what you get, and people that travel away and get per diem to be put on larger jobs for weeks at a time, they all get paid out for it in the end. What you put out, you end up getting in return. I did choose to leave that side, but now learning the trade has given me the tools to open up my own drafting business, and then on the after hours even passionately have this YouTube channel. It just does not stop giving. But first you have to learn the trade. So that's who I am, that blue collar broad telling you why you should just join a trade. Please thank you for subscribing, and I just can't wait for the next one. Thanks.